Imagine this. Your wife walks outside on a quiet morning, only to find 5 leather-clad bikers revving their engines in your driveway. And get this, they weren't random. They were sent by our very own HOA to intimidate us. Yeah, the same HOA that fines you for your grass being half an inch too long. But here's the twist. 3 minutes later, those same tough guys who came to scare us were the ones begging me to stop. Let me tell you how it all went down. You won't believe what happened today. My wife stepped outside to water the flowers. It was a calm morning, the kind where you expect nothing unusual. But instead of peace, she found herself face to face with 5 leather-clad bikers revving their engines in front of our driveway. And get this, they weren't random. They were sent by our homeowners association. Yeah, you heard that right. The HOA, the same group that fines you for having your trash can out a day too long. Apparently, they thought they could scare us into compliance because my wife and I had pushed back against some of their ridiculous rules. When my wife walked out, one of the bikers sneered and said, "Your husband better back down or else." She froze. But what they didn't know was that I was standing right inside, watching everything. And let me tell you, in less than 3 minutes, the situation flipped so hard that those tough bikers were the ones begging me to stop. Now, let me back up for a second. Why would the HOA even go this far? It all started a few weeks earlier. Our neighborhood's HOA board is, well, let's just say they love their power. They fined us because our grass was half an inch too tall. Then they sent letters about our front door color being too bold. But the last straw was when they demanded we remove the small playground set in our backyard. It was for our daughter. Safe, clean, and in no way bothering anyone. But they claimed it wasn't aesthetically pleasing. So I fought back. I started collecting signatures from neighbors, asking for changes in the HOA leadership. And clearly, that didn't sit well with them. Instead of responding like adults, they hired intimidation, local biker thugs. Their mistake? They thought intimidation would work on us. They thought wrong. The leader of the bikers, a big guy with a gray beard and dark sunglasses, stepped closer to my wife. He said, "Tell your husband he's playing a dangerous game. People who push too hard get pushed back harder." That's when I stepped out of the house. Calm, silent, just watching him. Now, here's something the HOA didn't know. I wasn't some helpless homeowner. I had a background in martial arts and security work. Years of training, years of discipline. And the way these guys carried themselves, I could tell right away. They weren't hardened criminals. They were just bullies for hire, trying to look scary. I walked right up to the leader, stared him in the eyes, and said, "You have 3 minutes to leave my property. After that, you'll regret staying." The other bikers chuckled. One muttered, "This guy's got guts." But I could see it in their eyes. They didn't expect resistance. And that was their second mistake. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't wave my fists. I simply started moving forward, step by step, toward the leader. The air got tense. My wife, still frozen in shock, watched as I calmly but firmly pushed the man back, without laying a finger on him. He tried to stand tall, but I used a technique I learned in training: controlled dominance. Every time he tried to posture, I leaned in closer, invading his space, cut him down with just eye contact and body language. Then I said softly, "You know the law, right? 5 of you, 1 of me. My wife is a witness. You touch me, you're going to prison." They shifted uneasily. One of them muttered, "Maybe we should just go." But I didn't let them off that easy. I told them, "You go back to whoever sent you and you tell them this. We don't bow to bullies. We don't bend to threats. And if they try this again, the next call I make is to the police with your names attached." At that point, the bravado was gone. Completely gone. The same men who rode and revving their engines were now backing up, hands raised, muttering apologies. Within 3 minutes, the bikers were scrambling onto their bikes, helmets on, practically tripping over each other to get away. My wife just stood there, jaw dropped, as they rode off. I turned to her, smiled, and said, "Well, that was interesting." But the story didn't end there. Word spread quickly in the neighborhood about what happened. The HOA board? Oh, they were furious. But now they knew intimidation wouldn't work. In fact, after I told a few of the neighbors what happened, more people joined me in challenging the HOA. The biker stunt completely backfired. Instead of silencing me, it gave me more support than ever. And just a few months later, we successfully voted out 2 of the most toxic board members. So here's the lesson, friends. Bullies, whether they wear suits or leather jackets, only have power if you let them. Stand your ground, stay calm, and don't give in to fear. Because sometimes the ones who come to scare you end up begging you to stop. So in the end, the HOA's little plan backfired, and those bikers learned a lesson they'll never forget. But more importantly, it showed me, and hopefully showed you, that standing your ground against bullies always pays off. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more crazy real-life stories, and drop a comment below. Have you ever had to deal with an HOA nightmare? I'd love to hear your experience. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.